That's 5, 4, that's 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. See, I just jumped right into it. I don't even fucking give anybody a heads up or a warning. By the way, before we start this podcast, just to let you know, and I've written this in the comments, stop talking about my fucking feet, all right? Number one, I keep my feet on here without socks because you tell me to put socks on. The more you tell me to do something, I'm not going to do it. So fuck all of you guys. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. That's why I have socks on.
That's right. You guys can keep your socks on. This, and what I realized too, I actually cross my toes when I speak. And I didn't notice that shit.
Your toes are pretty animated.
Yeah, I'm always just like, if I get really happy, oh my God, what's going on here, dude? And just like fluttering them around. So today we have two very special guests. Jeremy and Anna. As you guys know, I'm a part of a matcha green tea spot called Sip. Name change pending soon, but for now we're called Sip. We've been doing this now for how long?
It's been a while. I think it's been right around a year and a half, somewhere around there.
A year and a half? I thought it was longer. Shit.
I think 2 years.
Wait.
Sip started at Smorgasburg in July.
Technically. It depends where you see the starting point. We started as a pop-up. So if you're looking at that, then.
Yeah. So we Sip was such an interesting concept. And I think a lot of people, because, me, JK, we kind of all started doing food at different times, right? So I started off with Drips and Swirls first. And then later on, Pop Bar came along with you guys and everything else. When you guys decided to do Sip, what made you want to do matcha in the first place? So if you guys don't know, like obviously these concepts that we invest into and we work on together, it didn't really start with me and the JK crew. We came along afterwards. So how did you guys decide to start doing matcha?
I think it was something that we just wanted to bring to the States and bring it in a different way. I don't know if it's truly authentic. I think it's, for us, it's the way that I knew how to enjoy matcha.
Yeah.
Right. And if you go, you went there and the farmers, that's the way they enjoy it too. Yeah. And so it's a little different. It's a cold brew way of doing it. It's a different method. And for us, it was just, we traveled to Japan so often in the past.
We love Japan.
It's one of our favorite destinations and one of the places that we gather a lot of inspiration from. And so for us, it was just, all right, how do we then bring this experience back to LA?
Well, I don't even know what fucking authenticity means anymore. Just because and I always tell people this when it comes to food. Like people hold on to this word authenticity so hard nowadays. Right. I don't know what it is. It might have to do with just what's that fucking word that I hate so much? Appropriation, right? So it's like people are taking this food that they love growing up that they thought that they used to get made fun of for their whole life, and then somebody else that's outside of their culture makes it popular or some shit like that, right? But authenticity is such a weird thing for me with food because what really is authentic, right? If you really want to boil it down, because let's say I was Chinese or Taiwanese, right? My parents would make food different from your parents, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Right? So whose food is authentic? Because if you go to everybody's house, everybody's food tastes a little different, right? And so people have different influences from here and there. And I think that's the part that people get caught up in, because I always read that shit on Yelp. So when I go to a restaurant, they go, this shit is authentic. And it's like this fucking Taiwanese spot and it's this blue-eyed, blonde-haired white girl. It's like, what the fuck do you know about authenticity, dude? And why does it matter? Why does it matter to you so much? It's not even a part of your fucking culture in the first place, right? Yeah. So I think like even for us, like when we do matcha, I think that the great thing that we do is just there's this concept, and I wrote about it on Instagram, where people have this idea that you have to drink matcha in a very ceremonious way, right? Right. And so there's even somebody that I know that is trying to get funding for this this docu-series that they're doing where it's like about like the whitewashing of like matcha and stuff. And to that person's perspective, they were trying to say like it's a ceremonial type of thing. And I'm like, bitch, have you ever been to fucking Japan? Everybody be drinking matcha, dude. That shit's right next to the condoms. Like, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's such a weird thing. And I think like when we started doing Sip, the cool thing was that our drinks they're just fun. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, they had to be fun. They had to be a little different. We had to put our own twist on it. And I think the reason being is it has to be accessible in a way where people can relate somehow. Yeah. If they don't know what it is, then it's going to be hard for them to try it. If they know what watermelon is, then why don't we mix the two? Yeah. And then start there?
I think a reasoning for me to start Sip was I wanted to make matcha the right way.
Yeah.
Because when we fell in love with matcha from Japan and we came back to LA, every single place that we had matcha, that was horrible. Like, it just tasted so diluted. It was brown. It was murky. It wasn't what matcha was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So then we're like, why don't we bring it back from Japan? Like, source it from Japan, source it from the farm that we know and trust, and bring it back to LA and make it great.
Yeah. And I don't want to hear anybody talk about our matcha like it's not authentic. I fucking saw like 3,000-year-old Japanese women pick our fucking leaves, right? Like, I shit you not. They're like 5'1". Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, the work ethic and just going there, you're so humbled because these are like 80, 90-year-old women, and they're going at it. Yeah, they're harvesting the matcha. They're doing their thing.
They're so lively too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked. I think like the whole hand picking process threw me off because when we were traveling to other matcha tea farms that weren't ours, I saw the whole machine process where they literally slice off the top of whatever the young bud of the bush and they just machine process it.
Right.
Our motherfucking little grannies,
They're like picking.
They're picking individually by fucking hand.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah. That's why sometimes when I read these things, they're like, oh, this isn't authentic. I was like, I don't know what this authentic word is, but I don't know what more you want from us. You should talk to these old ladies. They're literally picking it by fucking hand.
Yeah, I mean, that's for quality control. And these ladies, they do like 20 kilos a day, easy.
That's crazy.
That's a lot.
They're like 4'10".
Yeah.
Because I remember when there's the shade because the green tea leaves are shaded. There's no way I could do that because I'm bent halfway over, but they're just standing up straight.
Yep.
So it has to be 90-year-old people because if not, you just can't fit under there, dude. It's pretty crazy. When we started, you guys did what before? You guys were doing Shrimp Daddy came before.
Shrimp Daddy was first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shrimp Daddy and all of our concepts, we started with June and Dan. I don't think it would have been possible. Food is so difficult.
Yeah.
That we knew that too. I think a part of us were like, man, we gotta find partners and do it with somebody because food is it's taxing. Number one.
Yeah.
It's hard to so it's really fun to start something. The real challenge is to maintain and sustain it.
Yeah.
Right. So and
It's like a relationship.
Yeah, kind of. I guess you could explain it that way. And so Shrimp Daddy was number one. Shrimp Daddy is coming up on 3 years end of this year. In November. And then after that was the shave ice concept, Chichidongo.
That's right. Yeah,
the Hawaiian shave ice. And then after that was Sip.
Yeah.
So
you know what the interesting thing is? Like, I remember when you guys first approached us about Sip, I was like, yo, this shit's gonna be dope, right? It's funny because like when sometimes like I think it's investors, we're still individuals, right? So there's, Bart and Gio is their thing, Joe is his thing, I'm my own thing, and then everybody kind of pulls together to see what we want to invest in and what we really want to push, depending on the story, the product, and if we really can back it. For me, like Sip was my favorite concept out of everybody, out of all the stuff, right? Because there was Shrimp Daddy, and Shrimp Daddy's great, and also Chichidongo, which I very much love. But for some reason, like Sip to me always just stuck out. And I remember like when we first started, I think like people were a little apprehensive with Sip just because like they have already invested into 2 major projects. I think like Sip for them was something that was a little rocky for them because they were like, oh, well, we already have 2. Should we invest into a 3rd one? And I think like Sip was such a great move for us because like number one, a lot of people don't know about it, right? And I think that education process is going to be the hard part. Even when we put up posts and like I wrote something very simple where I said, your matcha shouldn't be bitter. And they're like, what? I go, what? What do you mean it's not supposed to be bitter? It's supposed to be bitter. Like, it's not supposed to be bitter. And that's actually one of the reasons why people don't like it because whatever they had was very acrid. It's very acrid, bitter, and they don't like that feeling that it leaves in your mouth. Right. And I think that is the biggest challenge to make matcha really accessible to people because there's this whole thing about, number one, they don't know what it is. Right. Number 2, they don't know what it does for you. Right. And number 3, they don't even know what they should taste for.
Right.
So this is like the uphill battle that we have to face with this. And I think that for us, the best way to do it was to make it fun. Right. So I think, because we do a lot of fruit drinks, we do a lot of mixed drinks, and we do a lot of drinks that just you probably typically wouldn't see done with matcha. Right.
Yeah, that's correct. I think the fruit drinks were after doing this, I think the food drinks came from actually getting feedback from the audience.
Yeah.
They wanted the fruit drinks. They wanted the watermelon. They wanted the mango and the strawberry. And it was only after we were like, okay, well, because we came from this purity mindset. Let's bring it in a way where people can really enjoy in its purest form.
Let's keep the tradition.
And then for the most part, we're like, all right, let's hold off on these. There's a reason why we didn't launch strawberry right when we launched Sip.
Yeah.
And so after a while, we're like, all right, let's accept the fact that people actually want this and let's give it to them. I think for us, it took some time to evolve too when we launched it, because originally the idea was a little different than where it is today.
Yeah.
It's just about adapting to the feedback that we're getting. And I think a part of that is people like when it's fun. People like when it's fruit forward. People like that. And a part of, I think because we grew up on tea too. So a part of what we were trying to accomplish and what actually people wanted were a little different.
Yeah.
So like tea culture, I don't know if you can say it's tea culture, because most of the people in LA that grew up on tea here, they are used to something more bitter.
Yeah.
I think it's like the Listerine effect, where if it's not burning, it's not working.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So if it's not bitter, it's not good.
Yeah.
And I think we all grew up on that, thinking this is what good tea is.
The bitter, the better.
Yeah. And it wasn't until traveling more, it wasn't until learning more about tea at the level that we do it, that we found that, oh, actually good tea is really subtle.
Yeah.
It's sweet. It has a natural sweetness to it. There's a lot of umami to it. It feels creamy on the palate.
Yeah.
And we really try to just bring that back, showcase it. It wasn't received as well as we would think.
Hello, everybody. This podcast is brought to you by Purple. Now, if you haven't had a Purple mattress bless the backside or the side of your body, I'm telling you right now, you're missing out. I'm guaranteeing that you're probably like me before I had a Purple mattress. Waking up in the middle of the night, maybe you're too hot, maybe you're too cold. Well, guess what? Just like those bears and that porridge, this mattress is just right, my friends. It's a mattress that's like soft and firm at the same time. And ever since I had this mattress, it's changed my life. I love this mattress. I love it. If you're a big dude, small dude, whatever, this mattress is for you. The technology in it is amazing. And I'm telling you right now, I have never slept any better in my life. I love it. Well, guess what, people? You're going to love Purple. And right now, my listeners will get a free Purple pillow with the purchase of a mattress. That's in addition to the great free gifts they're offering site-wide. Just text BRAIN to 84-888. The only way to get this free pillow is to text BRAIN to 84-888. That's BRAIN to 84888. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was a little too early for its time, and also a little too, how would I say, a little too bougie, if you will.
Yeah.
For most people to enjoy.
Yeah.
And then so we had to bring in the fruit stuff because that's what people were requesting. And there's this whole educational process, which you help a lot with. I think your post did a lot for us.
It was just kind of like shocking. I was like, oh shit, maybe. And I think because when you become so enveloped into learning about something, you forget how not commonplace certain things that we know are to other people, right? Like how it should taste, the effects that matcha has on you, right? Like even why is this, I always think about like why coffee is so popular, right?
Yeah.
And even people who have opinions about coffee, there's this a lot of people don't know about coffee, right? But they always have an opinion on it, which is so fascinating to me, right? Because I don't know shit about coffee. Like we've taken coffee class, like how to make this shit. There was like a point where I just started looking over, trying to copy other people's notes and shit.
You were not paying attention.
I was not. I didn't give a fuck. Coffee's hard for me. Just like drinks, or like for example, on Ascend Foods, we went to we always go wine or beer tasting, right? And I think beer is a lot easier for me to taste the difference because there's a stark difference in between each flavors, right? So if they say like this was aged in a bourbon barrel, I'll taste bourbon right off the bat. Right. If they say there was cranberries and cherries steeped into this,
Correct.
I'll taste it right off the bat. But with wine is something that I fucking hate, because I have to sit there and then pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Because like these sommeliers will come up and it's like, well, this is what, so if you have this Chardonnay right here, you can taste like the oaky fucking fruity notes off in the summer breeze.
And then you just nod.
And I go, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't.
Wine is really tough.
Right? Wine is fucking
I don't
hard.
understand how some people could do a blindfold test and pinpoint
yeah.
the origin. It's
With
crazy.
skills.
Have you seen that documentary on Netflix called Somm?
Yeah.
Number one, I have never met people that I was thoroughly impressed with, and number two, people I also wanted to beat up at the same time. Like I wanted to tell everybody, shut the fuck up in that thing, because there was a certain point. This guy was just, the way they describe wine to cracks me up. So they'll be like, it was this one descriptor he used. He goes, it tastes like a hot summer's day and a freshly cut garden hose, or you sniff the inside. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? And why the fuck would I want to drink that? But then they smell, they taste it, they see whatever, the fucking viscosity or whatever, and they go, in Italy in the summer of 1962.
It's impressive.
It was a drought that year because the grapes weren't as sweet and there wasn't as much water. Or there wasn't as much water, so the sweetness is more concentrated. Made by an old lady stuck in a vagina. and they're like, they got it right. And they just move on from it. I think like with matcha too, eventually, I'm not sure if it'll get to that extent, but when people take an interest in it, they'll be able to see the difference, right? And not just say it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think now, because like we drank it so much, I mean, obviously if it's like, you know, ceremonial matcha to another ceremonial matcha, I mean, that requires probably definitely a more sophisticated palate.
Right.
But just from bad, good, medium, great, you could see and taste the difference.
Well, the great thing about matcha is there's really only one origin.
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah.
Wine, on the other hand, it's worldwide, right? And then coffee too. There's a lot of different origins, and it had a long time to evolve. Wine, coffee, and so coffee is what, on third phase. Tea really it hasn't really evolved at all. And so most people that have the knowledge are like our parents in their generation, and we're barely scratching the surface. So for us to then go and educate on this is even tougher. We do have one thing working in our favor, which is single origin, and that kind of gets all the confusion out, because if it's coming from somewhere else other than Japan, then you probably shouldn't drink it. And then if it's coming from Japan, it's usually pretty good. It's just you have to discern whether it's good, bad, better, or excellent.
Yeah, because there's also this concept where people go, I think it's funny because like some people will, you know, I go to a lot of the matcha places too, depending, because if I'm not in the area of ours, then I'll go somewhere else. But then, you know, I'll look up reviews, and I always love reading reviews about matcha places just because of like the shit that people say, right? They go, I've been to Japan, this isn't matcha. And I'm like, well, even in Japan, there's a lot of shitty matcha, right? Like, so what does that mean? Like, I don't know what that fucking means, right? And we're in this weird culture of everybody wants to be an expert about something. And I feel like when you even fake to be an expert, you get like some type of clout from it, right? So like my favorite type of Yelp reviews are the person that starts off with, so I woke up this morning, the sun was bright. Today was going to be a good day. I fed my dog. I petted my dog. Fluffy was really cute. So, because I saw Fluffy, I thought, maybe Fluffy pancakes. Like, bitch, who the fuck asked for this whole diary entry about your life, bitch? Tell me about the breakfast joint, you fucking hoe. Like, it irritates the fucking shit out of me.
The thing is, there are curse to write more. Like, when you write a Yelp review, it's like, keep going, you're almost there.
And it cheers you on when you write a whole paragraph.
And then when you write enough, then it's like, oh, this is really good.
Oh, really?
It makes you feel good.
It tells you.
Oh my God. That's
like
insane.
Encouraging you as you go.
Because I just want to see the fucking nitty gritty, right? I want to see what you could dislike something. That's fine. I just want to know what you disliked about it and what you liked about it.
Yeah.
And those are my favorite because I could just see it. So when I used to write Yelp reviews, I did pros, cons, ambiance, and I just wrote it bop, 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 bop.
I like doing bullet points.
Yeah, I would always do, because that's what I want to see, right? It's like, what do I like about this place? These are my favorite dishes. What do I dislike? This right here. Overall score, I fuck with this place. Move on. And I would do a certain thing where, because you can't respond to people on Yelp, I would write a review trashing the person beneath me. Like, just because they wouldn't let me respond to people. And I think if Yelp did that, it would be great, because if it has an open community, you have to be responsible for the things that you say.
Correct.
Because that's the hard part, because as a business owner, you can either directly message them, or you have to put a public statement for everybody else to see.
It's tricky for a business owner. You almost don't want to publicly message them and then talk about it.
Yeah.
Other than, hey, I sent you a DM.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of in the open domain. And if you're going to really hash something out, I think it's better to keep it private.
Yeah.
And so it's really tricky for business owners.
I just don't want people to leave away upset. I think that's the more upsetting part for me. When somebody walks out of our store upset. Like, I'm not mad that you left a bad review. I just want to know why you're so angry. Or what did we do to fuck up?
Or maybe give us a chance to make right on it.
Yeah, or
before you leave.
Right? Because it's not so much, I think when I talk about this stuff, people go, well, you know, are you so mad? I'm not mad at them. Not really. It's just more like, fuck, I wish I had the opportunity to make this right.
Yeah.
I wish you would have given me the chance to, at least for you to walk away feeling okay, or at best walk away with a smile, even if you don't like our stuff. Because I just don't like it when people just, thank you for giving us a chance of coming into the store, but if you're gonna talk that shit, say it in front of our face so we can apologize. Talk that shit so we can say sorry. You know, no, you can't. You're not even giving me the opportunity to apologize. Like, fuck, man. Like, give me something.
Yeah.
You know.
We have a sign at the store that says, "If you're not happy with your drink, let us know. We can make it right." But I think a lot of people just get their drink, they take a sip, they're not happy, they just leave.
Yeah.
But we tell our team to encourage them to tell the customers, please give us another chance. Like, if you're not happy with your drink, taste it. Let us know how you like it. Let us do it right so you can leave happy.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, that's completely fine. Just, you know, at least give a business owner a chance. And I'm pretty sure, even, you know, just maybe just to defend them a little bit, they probably have situations where they spoke up to an owner and they got trashed on for it.
Oh, I've seen that.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it in person.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how people respond
It's
like that.
happened to you, too.
It's, well, why did you order that drink then?
What, bitch?
It's like, you don't like it? Well, you ordered it. It's like, I don't understand how some business owners can train their employees to do that.
It's weird, man. Like, I think, like, having a business is so fucking difficult. There's so many moving parts. Yeah. And I think a lot of people who listen to this, they want to know, well, how do we get to that point? Like, how do we, because it's always easier said than done. Like, I know somebody right now who, mind you, he makes great food, right? Great food or amazing food is literally, to me, in my personal opinion, like 35% of the game when it comes to opening up a restaurant, right? Yeah. And in his mind, so he just recently split with his other partners at his restaurant, right? And they had a very successful restaurant, and it's still up and running now, but they split. And you know, from his point of view and his story, what I heard was that they didn't know what they were doing when it came to the business side of things, and he knows better. I was like, cool. You know, I trust his judgment. I mean, they have a very successful restaurant. Turns out he goes off somewhere else and he opens up a very similar concept. And I went to the restaurant, and food is similar, but everything else is trash, right? And so the mistake that he made was that he actually underappreciated what his partners did, right? So in his mind, he thought that he knew better. He goes, I know how to make the food, and the reason why people are coming through these doors is because the food is so great. Well, that is partly true. But what happens is if you don't have the customer service correct, you're not training your staff correctly, you're not training the kitchen right, you don't have the system set in place, everything starts to fall apart. Yep, and true. The food gets affected by that too. And that's what he's experiencing right now. He goes, I don't get it. Like, I pay my people well. Like, this is the same thing that we did over there. I don't understand why it's not working. Well, it's not working because you don't understand what it took to run the place, because you were Mr. Chef, Mr. Cook guy. Right. Like, you made the food, but you didn't see all the moving parts. And so what's happening with, I mean, his place is still doing fine, but it's just not as great as he thought it would be. And I think what he realized was like, oh shit, I actually don't know what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah.
So when you guys started doing SIP, I mean, I think number one, what I like about our company the most is company culture. And I think that's really important to you guys, right?
Definitely.
True. That's true. Anna handles most of that.
I'm in charge of HR, so that's...
Oh, HR, God. It's hard, dude.
Managing people is an art.
So what is something that you do to keep like our company culture just flowing and going right?
I think it's many different aspects of it. The first part is intuition when it comes to hiring people, because I have a pretty good sense of someone right when I meet them. Like within like 10 minutes of talking to them, I can know whether or not they'll be a good fit for the company. And so first you have to select the right group of people to come and join the team. And then the second is you have to know how to cultivate them.
Yeah.
Because we're not paying them like, great salary or anything. It's like they're doing so much for what they're getting paid for. But what we give them, I feel like speaks volume.
Yeah.
Like what we put into them and what the time and effort that we invest into them, I think is what makes it worth it.
Yeah.
And that's why we do team activities. Like we take them to the Hollywood Bowl, we take them to concerts, we take them to movies, we take them to rock climbing, just any activities we could think of that will help us become stronger as a team.
Yeah.
And then we really, really care about them as people. I mean, we do evaluations pretty often. We're not calling them evaluations anymore.
Yeah, in a traditional sense, they would be considered evaluations. It's actually just, we set aside time to talk with them.
Yeah.
To catch up.
Without distractions.
Right.
So we get to meet up, talk about things, see how they're doing, see how their experience is on the job, see how we can improve. Are there any opinions for that? And I think they're looking for community. I think they're looking for a
sense
voice,
of belonging.
a sense of belonging, a sense of voice to be heard. The pay isn't as significant as most people think it is.
Yeah.
Because number one, it's food. So it's going to be either one of your first 5 jobs, right? And you're not expecting to live off of this salary. You're not expecting a $60,000 salary from working at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And so for most of them, they're looking for community. And if other restaurant owners can provide that, then that means a lot to them.
Yeah.
I think
More
they just
than-
want to feel cared for.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Like they want to feel like we really care about their well-being, which we do.
Yeah.
And we show that by being there for them through all the ups and downs. I have my team that come to me often and say, this is happening in my personal life. This is happening with my family. This is happening in my relationships. What can I do?
Damn.
So I'm pretty much their therapist.
That's so nice.
But I love doing that because I see how they grow. I see how they evolve into the person that they are today.
Yeah.
And it's because we've been pushing them every step of the way. We've been there for them. We pretty much have been their second parents.
Yeah. I mean, that's what some of them tell us.
Because that's crazy. Because for me, I mean, when you guys worked whatever part-time jobs before, I never got that. I never
Right.
got that. We would come in, we clock out, and if there was a girl that I liked there, I'd fucking flirt with her and maybe get fired for it later on. You know what I mean? Like there's that type of shit, right?
Yeah,
But there wasn't this feeling where I felt, except for one guy, and he's actually, I used to work at the Men's Warehouse, and he was my manager. We still talk and hang out till this day.
Nice.
And
great.
I think like those type of like relationships are so hard to find, especially at a part-time job, because these jobs are supposed to be very fleeting, right?
Right.
Like you come in, you get your paycheck, you move out.
Right.
I think the great thing is that you guys actually take the time to develop these people as human beings, because one of the things that I found very difficult, specifically when I used to have a bigger team, people would kind of, my thing is that like this, even if it's a part-time job, you work that part-time job like it's a full-time job. You're right. So
Right.
I would always expect people to put their best foot forward, no matter what. It doesn't matter, because it's a precursor and an example of what you're going to do later on in your future job.
Yes.
Because there's no
Exactly.
such thing as, I'll do this part-time job half-ass and I'm a kick-ass at my other job.
Right.
Yeah, you don't. Because by the time you're done with that part-time job, you've already built those bad habits.
Yeah.
And they stick with you.
Yeah. That's what people don't understand in that hiring process too. Like I think some of my friends, when they hire some of their employees for their businesses, they don't understand like, well, how did this person who I thought seemingly was supposed to be great turns out to be so bad? I was like, no, well, there was a lot of bad habits that they had. You just said it was a part-time job and you let it go. But those bad habits develop into permanent habits. Easy.
Yep.
Because it's repetitious. Anything that you do, whether you're developing a great quality or a bad quality, repetitions make sure that it stays in place.
Yeah.
Right? So when somebody doesn't do something and you let it slide, they'll do it again and again and again.
Right.
To me too. Like, you have any idea how many times? So when you went to Splash Mountain, right?
Where I choked you?
Yeah, this bitch. Fucking going down Splash Mountain. We're supposed to have fun. Everybody has their hands up. We see this picture. I feel hands around my throat. I'm like, the fuck is going on? But
I was trying to hold on to something.
and you held onto my neck fat. My God.
That's where she felt safe.
But like, so for example, like when Mariel and I moved in together, right? She So after the Splash, so the reason why Mariel decided to go on Splash Mountain was because I promised that every time I use my bathroom, which I call it my safe space, my man cave, that I would leave the toilet seat down and the top lid down. So because that's not an ingrained habit, I haven't really been doing it.
Oh, shit.
But she hasn't seen it though. Right, so she hasn't been.
Wait, but I just used your bathroom and you put the seat down.
Yeah, but she's not here to witness it, so that's just your story, all right? It's your story versus mine, all right? So I just know that whenever I hear her, she's coming in through the door, I just run into my bathroom
And
like,
put it down.
Shit, boom, and she goes, "You just put the toilet seat down." I was like, "You ain't got proof, bitch. You ain't got proof."
She doesn't saw a camera in the bathroom.
Well, I mean, it's very normal though, because I think it takes time to build a habit,
Yes,
whether
it
a
does.
good or bad one.
21 days.
21 days at minimum for it to start taking, and then 90 days for it to stick. So if you're
Jesus.
doing anything for 3 months straight, it's going to start sticking.
Yeah.
And it might be permanent. Or it might take just as long to undo, or even longer.
You just have to do it for 3 months.
Yeah, you
Oh
just
my
have to do it for
God,
3
dude.
months.
Like, I just think it's so dumb. It's so much extra work. It's my bathroom. Let me pee and poo wherever I want. Damn it. And then when people come in, it'll be clean. All right. Don't worry about it. But for her, she's just like, she looks at like the microscopic details, right? She's just like, this is dirty. Look at that. What have you done? Like, even this place right now, it's pretty clean.
It's
in my
clean.
right?
It's clean.
It's really clean.
This is not clean to her.
What?
This is not clean to her. You see that tray with all that stuff
Oh, yeah.
inside
She
it?
told us about that tray that
Oh
you
yeah,
have.
that's your
Yeah.
tray, right?
That's where you put everything in.
Yep, that's my chaos tray, right? So I will have certain amount of clutter, but I will have it in a designated area, and that's what that damn tray is for. So for that, she hates that. There's like a couple boxes right there. That's unacceptable to her. So we gotta.
I think it looks clean to me.
It's pretty clean.
That's what I'm saying though, right? So what I always tell her is that you have no idea how clean I am as a person. I was like, you are the unreasonable one, because everybody who walks into this place, they go, this place is pretty clean, right? But to her, she just goes, look at this, look at that, and I don't get it. I
Does
think
she
it's-
do this to the countertop and then look at her?
Oh, she
finger?
gets that the white glove like a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
What
She gets
the
a black
hell?
light and
Yep, she sees all the stains and she goes, "You masturbated a lot today, didn't you? I can see all the stains everywhere. Look at this shit." So when you guys, what I didn't know, actually, I found out about this through Joe a while back. So you guys actually have another functioning business
We do.
outside of Sip, Chichidongo, and Shrimp Daddy,
That's correct.
right?
Yeah.
What is that?
that was the first business we started together.
Yeah, it's a photo booth business in New York City, and it's still running today. And I think that's where we learned a lot of fundamentals, because it's still running. We had to make a decision one day, and we're like, okay, if we move back to LA, what do we do with the business?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, you can't run a business from across the country.
Yeah, you can't. You just simply can't. It's not going to survive. And that was 2013.
Oh shit! Wait, how are you guys running the business from here?
Our computer.
Oh,
Computer
You guys are doing anything remotely?
And cell phone. So most people, while most people see a laptop for browsing the internet,
Yeah.
and a cell phone for surfing Instagram, it actually can change your life, right? This little device can change your life. And so that's what we learned. And I think it's a couple things. I think we're lucky enough to have the tech to support it.
Yeah.
If this was 20 years ago, no way our parents could have done this.
Yeah.
There's no way you could run a remote business 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But now you have the technology to do it. You just need then, I guess, the infrastructure or the
team.
the team, the human resources to support that.
Yeah.
Because we don't meet these team members every day and talk to them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Or at least face to face. Everything is done through text and
phone call.
and email or a quick phone call. And so it's even harder to create that culture when there's no face to face. It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
And I think it's, I mean, if we're being honest, it's a little less enjoyable too on our side, because
We love the face-to-face interaction.
there's less of a connection.
Right.
But we try to make it work. And I think because we try to make it work, and it's been working for 6 years, is how we learn how to create a better dynamic in person.
Yeah. So are you guys like, I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? If you weren't doing all of our food businesses, right, with all of us together,
Yeah.
you guys are like kind of like, that's like semi-retirement, right? Like if you just kind of like remotely do things.
It offers a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could
We could travel.
travel, you could, I mean, if you could do it across the country, then you could do it anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
It just gets a little more inconvenient with the time zone situation.
Yeah.
We've lived in China too, so we were able to make it work.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. You stupid son of a bitches, huh? Look at that. Because I think that's the hard part. It's like, I'm so used to so many hands-on things, right? So when I saw my parents own a business, they were hands-on about everything, right? And I think when people, you kind of get stuck in that type of system, right? Where you feel like you can't let go of certain things. Right? You can't allow people to do stuff that you feel like it's something that only you can do.
You feel like you have to be in control of the business.
Yeah. I think it's control. I think it comes from a place of insecurity. What if they don't do it as well as I can?
Yeah.
And therefore you time travel. In 2 years, the business might not do well. In 3 years, we might go belly up. You know, so you kind of project these things onto the business that don't even exist yet, instead of dealing with it now.
Yeah.
Like, let's figure out right now how we can move back to LA and make this work. Let's not think about, what happens a year from now if people start leaving. Let's not get to that point. Let's think about how we fix it now.
It was definitely a learning experience, though, because when we first started the business in 2010, we were so hands-on.
Yeah.
Like, we went so we started the photo booth company in 2010.
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be the one to be at every single event with our photo booth, to provide the best customer service, provide an experience, to make sure every single print is printing out beautifully, to make sure props are being organized, to make sure the client's happy. We wanted to do it all. So he was working full-time at an engineering firm and doing this at nights and weekends.
Jesus.
So before, he probably had like 4 hours of sleep every night for like over a year.
4 hours was a good night. Damn. 4 hours was a good night. So I had to biohack and like allow my body to like reach REM quickly.
What's your optimal amount of sleeping time for you?
Oh, now it's like
naturally
7-8 hours.
Naturally 8 hours.
Damn, that's good, dude.
I'll just wake up. 4 hours.
4 hours is optimal for me.
Really?
Yeah.
So any more than that, you feel like sluggish, or you feel like you overslept?
Like I sleep average 4 hours.
Oh,
That's
really?
it?
Yeah. That's why.
Do you take naps?
I'm actually 18 years old. So you guys get to
you know, technically that's
You're like
all
12.
you really need. If you have 4 hours of really good sleep, that's technically all you really need.
It's hard for me. It's like I've always like struggled with sleep. I mean, when I get 8 hours though, I feel like I'm on steroids. Like I feel fucking tastic. Like the other night I slept like 6 or 7. I woke up, I was like, God damn, let's get this going, baby. Like I woke up, I started boxing in the gym before the Muay Thai class, and I felt fucking fantastic. But because I slept so well that day, last night I was too energetic. I couldn't go to sleep, so I slept like 4 hours, and it fucking sucks.
Wow.
And I worked out twice. Like it fucking sucks.
I need like 7 hours at least.
That's why you fucking look like a child, dude. Like
Beauty sleep.
you look like you rub your face in placenta every night or some shit.
Yep, every night.
You look so fucking young, dude. Everybody looks so fucking young to me. I'm like, God damn it, all you guys age so fucking well, dude.
Well, I mean, you don't look that old either.
That's only because of the clothes I'm wearing, dude. It's because I dress like a child. Other than that, it's not really there. But it's also because I think I fucking had better eating habits and everything else too. I started drinking water. Fuck, man. Fucking drinking water,
Right.
dude. Mm-hmm. That helps out a lot.
It does.
I had no clue.
Our Asian parents have been telling us that our whole lives.
Dude, my mom doesn't drink water at all, dude.
Oh, really?
This bitch, she refuses to drink water. Like when we go out to eat, I have to sit there and then force her to drink water. She's such a fucking child. This woman's like 70 years old. She gets a cup, right? She goes, look, I drank. She just like puts the fucking water to her lips.
Yeah.
I'm like, drink your fucking water.
That's
right
like my
now.
dad. He doesn't drink anything besides juice or coffee or tea.
Oh my God. That's my mom too. She just coffee. She goes, coffee's water. I was like, no, it's not. It has caffeine. It dehydrates you, woman. She's like, that doesn't happen, dude. That doesn't really exist. But she refuses to drink water. I don't fucking understand till this day. She just
Some
doesn't.
people can do it without, yeah.
I drink warm water. I love warm water.
Warm? What the fuck? What are you, a serial killer? Why do you drink warm water?
It's good for your body.
Oh God, this girl, dude. You know, if you guys ever follow her, dude, just know that you'll see some hokey pokey Asian remedies.
She's serious though. It could be 90 degrees outside and she's
Yep.
gonna get
I'm gonna
hot
get
water
hot
with lemon.
chrysanthemum. Yep.
That's
You
her,
like hot fucking water? I cannot
Hot.
stand hot water, dude.
that's her jam.
Like
She loves it.
If it's tea, if it's coffee, I get it. Hot chocolate, lovely. Water?
When you wake up in the morning, drink a warm cup of water.
That shit better give
It's
me a
just gonna-
6-pack. If it's not going to give me a 6-pack and a larger penis, I don't want to do it. What the fuck? How long have you been doing that for?
Oh man, maybe like
It's
10 years.
You ever notice the bottle? Her water bottle is actually like a thermos, like those Japanese thermos bottles.
Well, I thought that was because you're trying to keep it cold, so it's to keep it warm.
I'm keeping it
Yeah.
warm.
Oh my God. You know what?
It's the
Lukewarm
best.
water is the perfect temperature for bacteria. You are a living bacteria. How fucking dare you? Why
Wait,
would
how
you
can bacteria survive in hot water?
Is it hot water or is it lukewarm water?
It's pretty hot.
What in the fuck? How do you drink that shit?
You know what? That's true though. Now that I think about it, that is true.
Do I have bacteria in my water? Should I be drinking cold water?
Well, it should be above 130 degrees.
You're fucking crazy. Why would you drink hot water?
Like
So you must
cold
hate
water.
that water.
And I'm trying to warm it up in my mouth before I drink
Yeah,
it.
that's why. She keeps it in her mouth for a while because
You're
it's got to get to body temp before it gets to the stomach.
I will boil that shit to an oblivion next time for you, dude. That shit just gonna be steam coming out. Right when you got the cold water, you were just like, oh, God, this guy.
Yeah.
Fucking cold water bastard is trying to kill me. What the hell? That's the weird. What else do you do? That's so fucking weird.
Hot showers.
Well,
Or-
I take hot showers all the time.
I like really, really hot showers.
Well, I think a
it's
lot
like
of-
a sauna.
Oh, God.
I think a lot of these things that you do, they all came about when we
Started trying for a baby.
started trying.
Yep.
There's a lot of weird stuff we started
Oh, yeah.
after we started trying.
You know that whole process, especially for you guys, like it's so interesting because like I've never seen somebody try so hard to have a kid, right? And I feel like for you guys there are other options, but having your own child just from that means is so important to you. And why is that?
I think for me, it's like you ever feel like you're in this world for a reason? Like there's your purpose, your calling. I feel like my purpose has always been to be a mom. So growing up, I knew I wanted to be a mom. I knew I wanted to have 2 to 3 kids. I wanted to raise good human beings that would do good in this world.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was like my calling. And so when we first started trying, I was like, it has to happen. Being the control freak that I am, I was like, it has to happen immediately. It has to happen on this timeline. In this year, they have to be born at this month. So they'll have this horoscope sign. Like I was trying to control it all. So when it wasn't happening over and over again, it was like definitely a humbling experience to have to.
Well, I think it started, the control factor started
yeah.
before because you're also thinking, we're not ready yet. We have to get to a certain point in our lives where we feel like we're ready. Everything is set up. And it was with the other business where we felt like, okay,
The photo
everything is
biz.
remote now.
Yeah.
We can spend time with the kids. And these are the imaginary kids that we were trying to project and,
Yeah.
and plan for. And then it's like, okay, now we're ready. Why isn't it happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we did everything by the book. We wanted to have a stable job. We wanted to have enough income to have security and have a house, have the relationship, the marriage that we have, and the support system that we have. And everything was ready. And then we're like, okay, where's the baby?
Yeah.
When is the baby coming?
Yeah. So what's the IVF process like? Because that's what you guys are doing, right?
Yes, IVF is, in simple terms, having a baby through science.
Okay.
So it's called in vitro fertilization. It's a process of injecting myself with a lot of shots to give me hormones, to grow my eggs,
Farming
in my
you're really,
uterus.
like farming
farming her eggs. So,
So every month you release an egg. But when you do shots, you farm like 10, 20, 30 eggs.
yeah. So the ovaries usually this big.
They become like
When
this big.
she's farming, they grow to the size of a grapefruit.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because one egg could fit in this, right? Like a ping pong.
Yeah.
Imagine then you have 15 eggs because you have 2 ovaries, 15 eggs on each side. And so each ovary, she was wearing my pants at one point.
Yeah, I couldn't fit into my own clothes. I looked like I was pregnant, but I wasn't.
Yeah, that's how big her ovaries like got.
Holy fucking
And then
shit.
you go under anesthesia, and then they surgically remove the eggs, and then they put it into a petri dish with his sperm, and they try to grow them into embryos. And then when they grow into embryos, you have to wait for day 3, day 5, and see if they're viable embryos, and then you transfer it back into me in hopes of implanting, and then you grow a human being.
Yeah. That's the concise
fucking
version.
Jesus, that's fucking crazy. In my mind, I didn't know that it expanded or anything like that. I just thought it was like a little egg, like a little salmon roe. And then, you know what I mean? You pop it up.
It is, because I think at maturity, it's like 20 centimeters. Mm-hmm. I mean, my bad, 20 millimeters. 20 centimeters is like that. 20 millimeters. And so, yeah, maturity, they're like little salmon eggs. So imagine you have 30 of them.
Mm-hmm. Holy shit!
Right, it gets pretty big.
That surgical process, is that very painful?
You don't really feel anything. You just go under. But we had a really bad experience the first time. I almost died.
Really?
I almost died.
What in the fuck? What happened?
Well, you can tell the story because I wasn't in the room with her. I think I would.
You son of a bitch!
I would have flipped out.
Okay. Like,
they didn't let me in there. I was in the waiting room outside. Okay. I think I would have overreacted for sure, though.
So they put me under. Well, before they put me under, the doctor was like, "How is your alcohol tolerance?" And I was like, "I think it's pretty good because I think I'm like my dad. Like I could drink a lot without getting drunk." So I was like, "I think it's pretty good." So she gave me. But I was like, "But I haven't drank in a while, so I'm not sure." And then she gave me a huge dose of, what do you call it?
I think it's something.
It was some kind of...
Some drug
to make me go under. But it was so strong that my heart stopped beating. And so you hear yourself flatline. And then I hear the doctor shaking me and saying, breathe, 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 wake up, breathe, breathe. And I was like my life just flashed before my eyes. And I was like, fuck, I'm going to fucking die.
Yeah.
And then she was like shaking me. And I was like trying so hard to force myself to breathe. And then I suddenly started breathing again and I could hear my heart beat again. And then after that, she's like, okay, I'm not going to give you any more drugs. We're just going to start the retrieval process. And I was awake the entire time. So I felt like pressure. I felt like really uncomfortable. And then that retrieval was actually very difficult because they didn't retrieve any eggs successfully. So it was a bust. So I went through all that just to get nothing at the end. And then when I came out to the waiting room and the doctor told me that she didn't get anything and that it was a failed retrieval, I just burst into tears. And I was just like, why does this keep happening to us? And I told him about what happened and he was furious. And he's like thinking about suing her. He's thinking about taking action. He's thinking about so many things that could have gone wrong. And that was when we were like, maybe we should take a break. Because he told me, he's like, I don't want to lose you in this process of trying to have a baby.
Yeah.
So that kind of hit me. And I was like, that's true. Like, I don't want our marriage to be, in the place where it was and going through all this and then risking my life to try to have this baby.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing because it's like this thing that you're trying to work towards, but at the same time, you don't want to work towards.
Yeah, because there's such a high risk involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ultimate price to pay. Like, is it worth it? Mm-hmm. Is it worth it? And I think at the time I was so furious, but at the same time, it was like, she wasn't ready to fight.
Yeah.
Because like she was devastated after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, but I wanna do something about this situation. But she was like, she just feels so shitty and she wants to like
just move on,
isolate herself and like it's this weird balance. It wasn't like we were in sync at that time because she just gone through what she's been through. And it's not only that, it's like the hormones too that you have to inject yourself with.
They make you crazy.
Crazy.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Yeah.
Just imagine PMS every month. I don't know if Mariel has PMS and she's
she does. Oh, she really does.
Just imagine what she goes through every month at the worst time and like 10 times that.
Oh, man.
That's how
and
it makes you feel.
It's not that straightforward too. It's like, all right, so like when we were in China, I remember this vividly. Because, it's that time of month.
Yeah.
She's counting the days. She's timing the window.
Oh, yeah. It becomes very romantic.
And it's time, right? And all right, one thing about that, I think nobody wants to get here in their marriage where it's like, oh, it feels like routine now. It feels like it's planned. It feels like, oh, right now it's optimal. So now we got to do it. Doesn't matter what we're doing. We got to do this.
Yeah.
And so in China, there was this one moment where she was taking some medication for it. And it's the weirdest thing because she's like in the mood. But she's also in the mood to kill me. You know, so she's
fuck me now before I kill you. Wait, what?
Yeah, so she's just like, hey, it's time. And then, and at this time we were
like
staying.
his Lion King and shit. Like, it is time.
Yeah, exactly.
Rafiki over here.
And then we were at her parents' place. So she's like, you got to get quiet though. And so her parents are like right next door in the other room. And then, so, you know, all right, cool. Like we're trying. And it's like, she crosses over from in the mood to I want to kill you now. Like,
because you were taking
what's
too
taking
long.
so long? You know? So
That's fucking funny.
so as we were doing it, she's like, what's taking so long? And then it's just, I was like, I can't go any faster. Like, I have to be quiet. I'm conscious about that.
Friction, bitch. Do you understand? Where I'm trying to fuck you at like a fucking half a mile an hour. What are you talking about?
And then on the top of that, it's like, it's not our bed because I'm not used to knowing where it squeaks and where it doesn't. I'm like conscious about that too. And then she's like, hurry up.
Oh yeah, that's gonna make him come. God, Anna, what the fuck?
Because not only that, it was late. So we had stuff planned the next day, and it was like, oh damn, I can't just hurry up. I can't just.
And I was giving you the look.
Yeah, and like the death stare wasn't helping either.
And he's just going limp. He's like, don't you fucking dare get soft. You better keep that shit rock hard right now.
Yeah, so that was like one of my memories, like first memories of us trying and trying to do it abroad and trying to, because we saw the doctor here, but we brought the medicine with us, and it's just. How
can you threaten him and fuck him at the same time and expect him to still be turned on?
It's a love and hate relationship.
It's like, listen, you're like enjoying it. All of a sudden, you're just like, okay, I'm trying to have a fucking baby. What the hell, dude?
Yep.
Hurry the fuck up.
I'm like, we're not gonna make a baby if you don't come.
Well,
you just have to make it happen.
It wasn't like
it's hard to fuck somebody who's angry at them, just like staring at them with fucking anger and shit. You're not even blinking. Like, bitch, blink. God damn it.
It wasn't like it was an hour later. It went from like, I don't know.
You usually come in a minute. What the fuck?
A minute 20.
Yeah, so it was
a minute 20.
It was like, oh no, it's over a minute.
Yeah, a minute 25. Speed it up.
All you had to do was just fucking give him a hand job, and right before, just stick it right in real quick. Just go.
So maybe that would have worked better. Yeah.
That's so much pressure. It's like, holy shit, dude. Like I would just be clammy the whole time. It's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you were thinking that, and it's like all the excitement leaves the room, and then you're like,
because the moment like Mariel, like let's say Mariel gets angry at me, all sex drive gone. Like, you are disgusting to me. I'm like, you get the fuck away from me. Disgusting.
Sex drives out the window.
Yeah, just like she's just like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, look at that, suddenly you're a dude. That's crazy. That's insane. You're a magician. You turn yourself into a man. Like, get the fuck away from me, lady.
You do get a lot of pressure though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. I think the maybe the difficult part, especially for you, is that situation where you see your wife almost pass away just because of it's like you're giving life to take a life, right?
Yeah,
and
pretty
like,
much.
It sucks because you see her going through this process, and it's also a cross that you can't bear for her, right? So you just have to sit on the sideline.
Well, it's tough too because I think we're on different pages. She's willing to do that.
Yeah.
To trade a life for a life.
Yeah.
My perspective is we existed before this baby is even in the picture. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I'm willing to trade off and lose you to have a baby.
Yeah.
Because we have this conversation pretty often. He'll ask me, are you willing to risk your life for this, to have this baby?
Yeah.
And I always say yes. Because in order to go through IVF, to put yourself through that emotional and physical pain, you have to want it that badly.
Yeah, the risks are high for sure. It's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's that's something to think. I didn't even think about it like that because I guess like I would be in your situation too, where I'm like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I had to lose, like I already told Mario, I was like, listen, there's a couple of options in this world. You leave me, I'm killing myself. You die, I'm killing myself because I can't start this all over again. Like we've done this for 5 years. Like, are you fucking crazy? Like I'm not gonna find somebody else. Like I even mentioned this to her too. I was like, hey, if I died, would you get with somebody else?
What did she say?
And she goes, well, I don't know. Like, that's the future. I'm like, you fucking bitch. I was like,
where's your loyalty?
I was like, if you died, I would just stay single for the rest of my life. it's just too hard for me. It's just too hard for me to reverse
at
that
a certain
whole thing.
point, it does seem like it's just too much to go through again.
Like I'd rather, because I was fine being by myself before her, and she was the bonus in my life. So I could go back to being by myself, right? Like it's completely okay. I don't need to attach myself emotionally to somebody else and go through the learning process all over again. Like if you die, I'm done, bitch. Like this is it. Like I might date, flirt around, fuck around a little bit, but other than that, they're not coming to my house. Like this is still, to me, it would be still, this is still our house, right?
Yeah.
And would they be okay? Like I'm married to somebody else and I visit your fucking grave every year. You know what I mean? Would they be okay with that shit? Because that's going to be a little odd for me. Because I don't know if I could do, I think I would be like you. It would be hard because it's to say there's this huge risk that I would lose you, right? It's like, okay, is that worth it for me? Because there are, in my mind, I'm like, there's other options, albeit it's not the same as like having your own child. Right? I think like when people are set on having their own child, there's just like this emotional attachment and feeling that comes with it.
Right.
And it's something that you're going to have to learn either to let go of that, to be able to instill like this motherly love into this other child. And if you're okay with that, then it works out. But if not, then it's hard.
Right. I think that motherly love right now, I'm giving it to my team.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my outlet right now where I feel like I could be a good mother figure to my team. But we have this conversation pretty often where he'll ask me, like, if we're going through this again, like, are you ready to go through all that physical and emotional pain? And I always say yes. And then I'll ask him, like, can you support me through it? Because this is the difference. Like, when he sees me go through all this pain, he doesn't want me to do it anymore. Like, he said so many times, can we just give up? Can we just stop trying? Can we just give up on the notion of becoming parents one day? Can we just move on to adoption? Adoption is something that we're definitely open to. We talked about this many times where we're definitely open to adoption one day. But it's just I want to try to have a little baby Anna and baby Jeremy right now. And I know that if I don't give it my all in the next few years, I'm going to get to that age where I might be too old to have my own biological children. And I know that if I don't do it now, I might regret it one day. So that's like pushing me through, and that's pushing me forward and say, I'm giving another shot. I'm going to have the courage to go through it again and again and again.
Yeah.
But for him, he sees the pain that I'm going through and he's like, please just give up. Like, I don't want to see you suffer more.
Yeah.
So we're always like having this battle where I'm like, please just support me. I want you to just tell me I can do this. I can do this. But he's like, but I don't want to see you in so much pain.
I think number one, it's something that we don't recommend to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
It's not something to say, hey, if you're having trouble, try IVF. It's great. It's not great. Number two, it's timing, right? It's as a couple, we can have different timing. Like you're ready to go through it. I might not be ready. If I'm for it, you might not be ready.
Right.
And so that has to be aligned too. And then on top of that, the risks are different for you and for me.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like what we are putting in the pot is different.
That's true.
The way you see it is you're after something and you're willing to risk whatever it is, whether it's financial, because it costs a lot, number one.
Oh, yeah.
It costs a lot.
How much does it cost on average?
40 to 50K.
Every time?
For one retrieval.
Son of a fucking bitch.
It's a lot of money. It's
fucking baby.
We've definitely spent around like 150 on it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And it's a lot. So that number one is one thing to consider. Whether it's emotional or not, you have to consider the financial stuff too. And then the financial side, there's the timing. And you're committing something different to the pot. I'm committing something different to the pot. And then that has to be aligned, because if you're not, it causes friction.
Yeah.
Right? Like she might not feel like she's supported. I don't feel like I'm being heard with what's really happening.
Right.
I might not be ready to think like, oh, am I ready to see you or hear about you flatlining again on the
giving
table?
me injection.
Oh, that's a different thing too. I have to become a nurse and like stick her with a needle every day, multiple times a day. And then not just that, one time I hit her sciatica and she fell over like a tree, like timber, like she fell over. She was
painful.
standing there. I hit the nerve and she just went and like fell over on the bed and like burst into tears.
Oh,
and like,
shit.
So there's a lot
and then she was like, let's fuck now. It's like, no, bitch, it's not how it works. I'm not in the mood. No, you hit my sciatica. Just fuck me right now.
Yeah,
like,
a minute top.
just do it in a minute, okay? While you're
puts
crying.
you through all the emotions.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, it's weird because I think, like how I see it now, it's like, oh shit, you both of you actually have big picture thoughts, but they're two different big picture thoughts. You know what I mean? You're thinking,
it can be. Yeah.
Your big picture is like, at the end of the day, like, we are important and risking your life is not worth it. But your big picture thing is like, I'm going to live with this regret for the rest of my life. So how do you guys find that medium? Like, I think that's hard. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around it right now. And I don't know where that medium is. Like,
we just constantly talk about it. And I think for me, I have to work up the courage to be like, okay, let's do it. I think she's usually ready because she'll tell me, she's like, okay, I think I'm emotionally ready now. And then it's kind of like at that moment, I'm like, wait a second. That's great. Perfect. I'm happy for you, but I don't think I'm ready. And I don't think it comes out like that every time, because sometimes I'm just trying to ignore it or like put it out of my mind. And so it gets to that point and I'm like, oh, shoot. Now I have to start thinking about it. Am I ready for this again?
I think because you're the type that when something's on your mind, you need to process it first.
Yeah.
You need to come to the conclusion yourself first in your head before you can talk about it. But for me, I'm like, what's on your mind? What are you thinking? Tell me. Tell me now. Tell me now.
Right. And then that even adds more pressure. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, this is a big thing. I can't just tell you right away if I'm ready.
But I think the communication is really important, where we have to have these talks often and say, do you feel ready now? Do you think we should wait another month? Do you think we should wait 2 more months? Do you think we should wait until, the concepts are at this stage, or after we move into our new house, or after the family visits, like whatever it is? So we have to have that communication constantly to check in on each other and see how we're doing emotionally.
So what's I guess for you then, what is your, I'm done with this now and I'm going to try other options? Like what's going to be the thing for you?
I don't know. That's a really good question, because I'm not the type to give up easily. Like, I'm very stubborn when I want something, whether it's work, with eating food that I love, like whatever it is, I just need to have it. And I will keep trying until I get there.
Yeah.
I think it's good when it comes to business, where I feel like I could give it my all and I could keep trying and trying and trying, and I won't take no for an answer. But when it comes to infertility, it's really a humbling experience, because you have to think about, why do you want it so badly? And what if you can never have it ever?
Yeah.
But then my inside voice is always, I need to keep going. I need to keep trying.
Yeah.
And if I never become a parent, I think we'll definitely adopt. But before I get there, I just want to give it my all. And I just want to know that I gave it my all. And there's this picture that I look at pretty often. It's from this woman who did IVF like 12 times. And
God damn.
She has this...
a lot of fucking money.
Oh, yeah. She has this blog that talks about all the pain that she went through, and that she ended up with a beautiful baby girl. And the baby girl told her one day when she was like a little older, and she's like, thank you for never giving up on me.
Yeah.
And that like brings me to tears every single time, because I feel like I'm doing this for a future child. And I want them to tell me one day, like, thank you for bringing me into this world and to never give up on me.
I think the interesting thing about that is, like, I guess like for adoption for me, because I actually want to adopt. I actually want to adopt really bad. Mariel, we actually had this conversation. She goes, I'm not sure yet. And the reason why I want to adopt is actually for that same very reason. Because for you, when you talk about bringing a child to this world and having that child look at you and say, thank you for bringing me to this world. For me, for adoption, some of these kids didn't have that opportunity. And they actually get to say the same thing to you, where it's like, I wasn't asked to be brought to this world, but you gave me a second chance. That's why adoption to me is so fucking important, because my parents wanted to adopt originally, but obviously they got a little older, and obviously it's because they kind of missed having kids around in the house. But that's the same reason why I would want to adopt. Like for me, for her, we actually talked about this yesterday. She goes, she asked me why I was so certain about it. It's because of that reason. It's because I just don't like the fact that there's a kid out there that wasn't allowed to live. They're kind of predestined to fail, right? So they're kind of born into this world without even being asked. Right. And so for me, like, adoption is that same type of beauty, right? So I don't know, maybe if you'll see that same type of connection with that. And I have a friend right now who she adopted, and she has that type of connection with their child too, because it's that second chance for people is so important for me because like I feel like all of us had our personal stories where we got our own second chances, right?
Right.
But we were fortunate enough to have parents around to really help and guide us and help us be the people that we are today. And so when I see these kids who don't have that opportunity, I want to do that for them. And also too, like let's say if Mariel has a kid, like we have our own kid, right? And then she's like, I don't want to have a second kid because I don't want to go through the whole labor process. I would adopt in a second. But then again, that's probably because I already had my own kid. So there's just a lot to think about that. And I think sometimes it's hard for you because you hear those personal stories and it makes you want to be the exception to the rule.
Right.
Right. So I think that's why I bring up, like, for you, when is enough going to be enough?
That's a great question.
She's a fighter. I don't know if I can answer that too, because I don't think there's an end in sight. I don't like, even for us, we don't feel like we are our age, right? So how do you know and set a limit?
Before when we first
when I
started,
reach a certain age, then that's when I'll stop.
before we first started trying, maybe like 2 years in, we said, by the time we're 35, and if we're not pregnant yet, let's adopt.
Yeah.
And I just turned 35 this year. And then I was thinking about it recently, and I said to myself, am I ready for adoption yet? And the answer was not yet.
Yeah.
I watch adoption videos pretty often on YouTube. They're like the most emotional videos I've ever seen. I cry every single time.
Yeah.
I know that when we are ready for adoption, we're definitely open to it. And my mom actually put me on a list to adopt from a church in Taiwan.
Oh, wow.
She did this in the beginning of the year. So it's a long waiting list, but we're definitely on that list.
Yeah.
So my family knows that we're open to adoption. Like they're looking around, like they're asking places in China. So adopting from China used to be really easy. When they had the one child policy, there were many, many girls, baby girls that needed to be adopted.
Yeah.
But ever since I changed that policy and ever since they changed their adoption policy overall, it's been really hard to adopt from China.
Yeah.
So we looked into it a couple years back. We even looked into open adoption, closed adoption. There's many different forms of it. Open is when the birth mother would choose you as the parent.
Yeah.
And we actually like that more because we want the child to know, where they came from, to know where their family, if they want to rekindle with their parents one day, we're completely supportive of it. We're open to it. But I think at this stage of our life right now, we want to try a little more to have our own biological children.
Yeah.
But we would definitely be open to adoption one day. The time's right.
Yeah, because that time restraint it's hard, right?
Right.
So it's like, when do you say is enough? Like, when do you feel, like, for example, like when people say, like, how do you feel your age? Like, I just had this, like, I just did that, proposal video. And then somebody messaged me.
It's so emotional.
I hate watching that video. That shit makes me tear up. But somebody wrote to me, and even this was kind of weird. They didn't mean anything by it, but I have a lot of friends who say this from back at home. They go, "Oh, you're gonna get married now." It's like, "You're old now," and I'm like, "No, you're old, bitch." I ain't old. You're fucking old. Like, what is this? What is this? You're old type of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that part's a little weird, right? Because I never I still feel like I'm a child, and the only thing that keeps me grounded enough to know that I'm getting old is when I look at my parents. That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I feel like a kid.
Yeah.
Because I look at my parents, I'm like, oh shit, they're old. You know what I mean? I'm like, that means I'm old. Right?
Yeah.
Because I still call my mom dad. I call, mom and dad in Korean. And in the way I say it is even child, I say oma and appa. And when you get older, you call omonim and abanim, which is like more traditional older shit. I'm calling my parents mommy and daddy. You know what I mean?
I call my parents mommy and daddy.
Yeah, as an adult, right?
Right.
And so I guess like in your case, it's like, that is really something to think about.
I think turning 35 this year was really hard for me.
Because you kind of set that time limit to yourself.
I set the time limit, and because when you're 35 as a woman, you're categorized in the, I don't know what they call it, like the old age.
Well, it's
maternity.
Statistically with age, and then also statistically with fertility.
Yeah.
It's in a category that it's on the decline now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that study shows. I don't know how they gather that data. Was it from back in the day when people were only living till 60? Or was it done recently where people are now living to 100?
My best friend is a physician. He told me that it is based on stuff from back in the day, right? So when I guess like when the eggs are like perfect, it's technically when, a girl hits puberty. Like that's when it's like fresh as fuck, right? But he was telling me like into your mid 30s, a little bit later, it's still fine. Like he said, it's not that big of a deal. That's what he told me, because he's just he is about to wrap up in like the next few months, but I'm guessing like his knowledge is a little bit more current. So, but that's what he told me anyways.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about.
Isn't it nice to have a best friend that's a doctor?
Yeah, but he's a dumbass though. I don't give a fuck if the doctor. He's a full-fledged on idiot. Like I'm surprised he's a doctor, to be honest with you. Like it's weird because even when I talk to him, I even said to him on the phone, I was like, "You're a fucking doctor, dude. That's so." The education system has failed us. I was like, how the fuck are you a doctor, dude? Because he's me, just a black dude. You know what I mean? He just happens to be a physician. And we always say, like, the funny thing about us is that we kind of break stereotypes. Like, he's a black dude that became a doctor, and I'm the Asian dude that became a comedian. So we kind of, like, fucked it around and flipped it up. But, damn. Like the whole IVF process, I kind of hear about it, but you don't realize how difficult it is. Because I just think like, oh, you just pop the baby in, make it a petri dish, boom, bang, boom, boom, got a fucking baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think up to the petri dish is manageable.
Yeah.
For what we've learned. But then I think where our troubles are is implantation. Now you got to transfer it from the dish back into the uterus, and then hopefully it sticks. And it did stick.
Once.
It did stick once for us. So we know it's possible.
Is there a higher chance? Is that like something that's, I won't say wrong, but is there something inhospitable about your uterus, or is there a way to find a surrogate mother to do that, and it'll be a higher chance for that egg to survive?
We thought about that too, because the last time we did get pregnant and we had a miscarriage, the doctor was thinking maybe it's because my uterus is too angry. So it attacks whatever that comes in that's foreign. So they're saying maybe you should just hire a surrogate to carry your child to full term. So we looked into it end of last year too, when we had the miscarriage, and we're open to it as well. But to get a surrogate, it's like $150,000.
Oh, because they have to carry that baby, huh?
You're essentially hiring them for the year.
Yeah.
Oh, because they're just gonna.
They can't work, right?
Damn, that's
so
fucking crazy.
you got to pay them a salary.
You have to pay for lawyer fees.
Ton of legal fees. Then
insurance.
Then you have to pay their. It's a special insurance. You have to buy them too.
Dude, your future kid either better be in the NBA, a lawyer, a doctor, or a really successful comedian. Because at this point, dude, this motherfucker costing hella money, dude. Like, oh my god.
Before birth.
Before birth.
Like, just right when my kid turns 1, I would just beat his ass for all the fucking pain he put me through. It's like, what are you beating me for? It's like, you don't know the shit that you put me through.
Yeah, I tell Anna, this kid is only gonna get hand-me-downs. It's not. This kid doesn't deserve anything else.
They're not gonna even eat shrimp daddy, dude. They're just gonna get the shells. If people don't eat it, it's like, here, you eat the fucking tail of this, all right? You fucking little piece.
It's like when we find the small shrimp in the stack, we're like, oh,
You get that
This is for you. I love you to death, but
It falls on the floor. Oh, that's yours.
you're really expensive.
5-second rule.
Fucking enjoy that. Well, guys, that's actually like 20 or 30 minutes more than we normally go on this podcast. That was fucking great.
That's awesome.
We opened up about some deep shit. Well, guys, where can they find you guys?
We are pretty active on Instagram.
Which I didn't even know you
She
had
is.
an Instagram.
I'm not that active. That's why.
I thought SoCal Eater was your guys' combined Instagram, and then
It started
out of
that way.
nowhere,
So many people thought the same thing.
there's like Jeremy 2-1. That's not Jeremy shit. You got one. You got a couple shit. And I saw his thing. I was like, damn, I haven't tagged him in anything, dude.
It's been, I
Yep.
mean, I'm not that active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have like 2 posts a year.
2 posts. That's what I strive for.
So you could find, I guess, Jeremy 2-1, SoCal Eatery. You could find us at Shrimp Daddy.
Yep.
Eat Shrimp Daddy is the Instagram. Is it the Chichidongo?
Yes.
And then it's going to be Sip
Matcha.
Matcha. So those are all of our businesses that we have. We have a possible another one in the books. Who knows what the future holds for us. But remember, you guys can catch Genius Brain on iTunes, podcast, Spotify, and basically any kind of audio platform out there. If you guys have questions below for Jeremy and Anna, say it in the comments below on any of those platforms, specifically on YouTube. Ask questions away. Thank you guys for sharing the whole IVF process.
Thanks
and
for having us.
the whole business
had fun.
process. It was really supposed to be a podcast about business. It turned into something else. Well, that's fucking fantastic. All right, you stupid sons of bitches. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.
Cool.